Lewis has also dealt with health issues that took you completely out of the game with the perspective of potentially life from that standpoint. Shoulder and cancer. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that journey of like doing all these things, going through life, playing the game of golf, and then being hit with all the health side? Because I know you've spoken about that in audiences as well.
Yeah. I mean, that probably had something to do with some of the success I've had in recent years. Maybe. I mean, but yeah, I was going along 7 years ago and living what I thought was a pretty healthy lifestyle. Always put a lot of effort into trying to be healthy. But I got cancer in my throat or neck area from a virus. So, and it's a virus they say 80% of adults have, called human papillomavirus, HPV, and kids are vaccinated for it these days. But the good news was that it's not that fatal. But the bad news is I had to do 7 weeks of radiation, and radiation is pretty rough, and it's had an impact on me and some of the cranial nerves and so forth. But I went through a rough treatment, came out of that, and I had not played any tournament golf really before that. But after I went through that, that's when I one day just said, I need to go play. I need to go play the golf tournament because I've got a pretty good talent for the game, and I guess you start thinking about how much time you have left, and so that's when I started back playing a little bit of tournament golf. But then I got rear-ended, and I'm not sure that caused it, but I had nerve damage that caused my trapezius muscle to basically shut off. And when that happened, my shoulder blade fell. It took like several months for this to happen, but it took the best doctors at Emory 4 months to figure out what was going on. I couldn't lift my arm because my shoulder blade had fallen, and it had this nerve damage, either from radiation or the car accident or a combination of the two, where I was rear-ended. And that turned out to be almost worse than cancer because I couldn't function. I mean, I couldn't lift my arm. I couldn't reach into my back pocket. I could barely swing a golf club. And I was good enough that I could still play decent, but it hurt. You and I might have been playing golf then. I don't remember. But the best surgeons at Emory told me there was nothing they could do. So this is a pretty good little lesson for people, I think. I never went into a full-blown depression over it, but I was sort of thinking this is worse than cancer because they can cure cancer, or at least you can get past cancer. This thing, I couldn't reach it. Like I said, I couldn't reach into my back pocket. And my right shoulder's hanging down. And I reached out to the radiation oncologist. He said, well, there's a team of doctors at Johns Hopkins who specialize in that nerve. It's called the spinal accessory nerve. I reached out to one of their doctors. I had a contact who helped me get it, talk to that man. But I didn't go up there. And he said, well, we may not be able to help the nerve either if the Emory people couldn't help you. He says, but there's someone at Mayo Clinic who can help you with that trapezius muscle. And so I contacted that office. I sent them a bunch of medical records. And that man, Dr. El Hassan, he saved, I'm going to say saved my life because I'd still be alive, but he saved my quality of life. So this man from Lebanon, he went to medical school in Lebanon, but he did his residency at Harvard, and he created a surgery that helped people with this rare issue, this damaged nerve, they say hockey players can get it from a stick, or sometimes needles can do it, but they damage that nerve. But anyway, he had the surgery that involved transfer of 3 muscles to put my shoulder blade back in place, and now I can lift this arm. It's probably not 100%, but the lesson, people, is whether it was the cancer or whether it was this shoulder issue, was that I didn't get too down on myself and feel too sorry for myself. With cancer, I framed it as I could have a worse kind of cancer. I could have the kind of cancers that we all know people who've had, who couldn't make it. I knew I would survive the cancer I had. So I framed it, and I got to the other side of that. With this thing, I just never gave up that there would be a solution. So you just it's easy to say, but I just didn't give up, and thankfully there was a solution that the best doctors at Emory didn't have, but I found it on my own. And when I won this golf tournament, I sent Dr. El Hassan, who's now at Massachusetts General.
That's General, yeah.
Yeah, part of Harvard, a photo, and just thanked him. I said, I owe you so much. And so that it did. I think some of those challenges, for me, I use it as motivation. It's like, and I still have, I have health issues from all the radiation, but I just use it as motivation to try to make me that much more determined. So that it's just life. You can't get through life unscathed. There's going to be challenges.
Awesome. Well, we're going to end on that note. So huge round of applause for Lewis.